as it could be.
Okay. Sharing, right?
Yeah, we could say part.
All right, perfect. I'm struggling with WebEx. So, all right, today's our October 6th meeting. George, is there anything you want to bring up before?
No, we could jump into the market watch, see how everyone's doing.
All right. So, here's our market watch announcement. For the next 2 weeks, I picked out, we'll go into energy stocks. And I know it's, kind of a letdown because it's not like name brand companies, but maybe you're familiar with some. I'll open this next slide. You're familiar with Exxon, literally any oil company, Shell. These are all energy companies, but don't limit yourself to just oil. Oil is like a very interesting index to go into, but there's also renewable energy like solar and wind. Those are, I think, much more favorable aspects in the long term. And here I just have a screenshot from an article I found showing the best value energy stocks, showing Murphy, LNG, and Valvoline. And a good way to determine which stocks are good buys for long term is to look at their 1 year price to earnings ratio. And next, in the bottom left, you'll see something kind of maybe depressing, showing how the energy sector was the worst sector to perform in 2018. So there's multiple ways you could take that on. Means that if it's at the bottom, you can only go up, or you can find maybe certain companies that have something interesting to bring to the table. Just saying again, I think renewable energy is the future. Personally, I don't think maybe Exxon or Shell or these oil companies could have a future as well, but depends on what you research. And in the bottom right, you can see different types of energy companies and how they performed over the years. Everybody knows coal is kind of dead, but oil does have some promiscuities just depending on how the trade with international trade is going on. But as I mentioned before, you can see two renewable energy resources, which are solar and wind. So you can see solar panels, which are pretty modern in Connecticut. They're coming in a little bit. Maybe in some nicer towns you'll see them, but wind energy is not really common in the United States. I think I see more of those internationally, but definitely research into these companies because there's definitely a lot of potential in a lot of these renewable resources. Actually, before we get into this, we can open up the portfolios. So Graham, you're here, right? You're still ranking number 1. Have you done anything since last week?
No, I haven't touched anything.
No, you're just going in with your long. Are you just long with whatever you have?
I don't know. I'm kind of just like, I was just planning. What I did originally, I was just kind of planning on doing it long, but I don't know. I think if there's another dip, I might buy and trade out of some things. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Sure. Yeah, you're still really in a lot of stock sectors, but now you can't. No, the rules mean that you can no longer buy them, but you can still hold them. So look into some energy shares if anything seems interesting.
Quick question. For this new week, are we getting more cash?
More cash? Well, that's interesting. I'd say no. I think $100,000 is a lot of liquid to work with. So if you do see opportunities, I'd say just buy in the energy sector. Zihiao. Is he here?
No, I don't think Jason is here. No.
Oh, Jason. I always forget that. Well, George, I think last one's you.
Yeah.
Have you done anything differently?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I didn't hold anything. I actually switched over. I guess we were doing tech last week. So I saw Alibaba was up a lot one day. So just shorted that to squeeze a bit. My brother was talking about Chegg a lot with, they have like a new service coming out where they have like one-on-one tutoring to like supplement like in-person schooling. There's a lot of schools are switching from virtual, or if they tried in person, they're now, going back to virtual. So got Chegg. I think that was my biggest mover. I think that position went up like 8%. But then I sold it today to get ready for the energy sector for the next 2 weeks.
All right. You mentioned Alibaba. I do have some interest in that company. you tell me one good thing and one bad thing about Alibaba? Pretty much anything that comes to your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about the company. Like I said, my thesis behind it was just it went up a lot one day, and I thought there'd be some retraction, so that's why I shorted to just get a bit. But I know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's similar to Amazon, but I know instead of having like their own house brand, like Amazon Basics or the other Amazon companies, they kind
Yeah.
of primarily deal with like third-party sellers and kind of empower small business. So I
Yeah.
know that's really good for the Chinese economy and other, countries that utilize Alibaba. I mean,
Yeah.
negative,
Exactly, Khalid.
yeah.
Yeah. If you look at a certain product, they'll give you discounts if you buy it in bulk. So they really support like warehouse buying. So if you're
Yeah,
buying in the US and you're reselling it, Alibaba's the way to go.
yeah. I think
If
like
you want to start your own
AliExpress, another
business,
one. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Khaled's saying they connect you to distributors, and they're huge for Shopify e-commerce. So yeah, exactly. I mean, for small
Yeah.
business, drop shipping, really good.
Can you expand on drop shipping? I'm not really sure what that is.
Um, that's something Khaled used. Khaled, would you mind talking about drop shipping?
Yeah, 1 second. I gotta close the store.
Okay.
Yeah, take your time. Shopify is popular in Canada, right? Is it like the
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
yeah, I
hear
can
you.
hear
Khaled.
you.
Okay, so dropshipping is basically just marketing arbitrage. So, like for example, it's like this big trend right now in e-commerce. That's why Shopify went up. Like, I think their stock was like literally 100 or 300 if you look back for the past 2 years or year. And now they're like 1,000 or 900. But if you look at the forecast for the past year, it's skyrocketed, which I wish I bought earlier because I was literally doing Shopify like a year ago.
Wow.
So they've like gone up so much because of the prevalence of e-commerce. So basically, Shopify is like probably the easiest platform to use for starting your online store for any online store. But drop shipping is basically, like I said, like marketing arbitrage. So you don't necessarily have any inventory like a traditional business. Like that's why Shopify and drop shipping and Alibaba are very attractive business models because it's like back in the day, you'd have to, let's say, if you want to do a t-shirt store, there's no testing available. Like there's no proof of concept. You can't just print 2 shirts or 3 shirts and start off. You have to have your own inventory. You have to have your own
Yeah.
shop, everything. So the great thing about Shopify and even print on demand, for example, is you can have people make orders, and you're basically just paying for marketing because you don't have any inventory. You only pay when people buy, and you basically have to make sure that um, your advertising, or typically Facebook advertising or social media marketing, would be good enough to bring in enough clients or I mean, sorry, customers to your store. So that's pretty much prominent right now, especially Q4 for e-commerce. So I'm expecting Shopify to go up a lot.
Okay.
And Khaled, Shopify, you set up your online store through Shopify, right? You're like hosting your own domain and things like that.
I think George is lagging a bit. That's okay. I was thinking the same exact thing. So like, have you heard of Redbubble or like Teespring? Is it similar to that?
So Teespring, I know about. They basically just print on demand,
Yeah.
which is also a good business model. That's just like for t-shirts, but Shopify is you could put any item you want, and it doesn't necessarily have to be drop shipping, but it's very attractive to do drop shipping for using Shopify. Like there's other platforms. Shopify is just a platform for your website. If you're a good programmer or web designer, you can use WordPress. I use WordPress when I deal with clients or stuff like that. There's something called WooCommerce. It's just a little different. It's cheaper. Shopify is just way easier UI, and it's easier for people with less talent to get online. But it's a little bit more expensive. It's like $30 a month. So failure rate is very high either way, but it's easier to get in. But I know a lot of people that make a lot of money with cloud drop shipping.
Yeah, I get a very like Apple vibe from Shopify. I invested in that in Alibaba like a month ago, and it's doing, or like a month and a half ago, and they're doing fairly well. Shopify is just like very like just competing with Amazon, and I feel like it's a lot more personalized, and like Khaled said, it's like a lot more like novice friendly. Because like it's the tools you can like you can like personalize your specific store compared to Amazon, where there aren't a lot of like those custom features.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like how you call it like the Apple of e-commerce, or something like that. That refers to like a lot of things, meaning like how easy is it for like a newbie to get into this, or like how easy is it to understand what they do, like how easy is it to look at the website and just to get their whole premise. Yeah, but it makes a lot of sense when you say it like that. Thank you. All right, George, you want to take on the next part?
Yeah, I think Rashawn is going to talk about that.
All right.
But I
Yeah,
could chime
I
in.
can cover this one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we just wanted to remind you guys about the leadership opportunities. So the positions that we have available include the financial events chair, marketing and social media chair, and the website chair. And pretty much all you need to do to apply is just email your resume to the fmc.stanford@gmail email address. There will be a brief interview process, but that won't start until we get all the applications. And so the deadline for that is October 14th, which is next Wednesday. So you guys still have a week. But if you are interested in any of the roles, definitely apply. We're looking to get more members involved and engaged, and hold more like a leadership position within the club. I'm not sure if you have anything to add, George.
No, I mean, yeah, we've already had a few emails to the club, just as simple as a resume and say, hey, I'm interested in this chair, or I'd like to be in any of the chairs just to get involved with the club is always welcome. Then one thing I'm going to share, I know Point 72, which is a hedge fund, and they have I think they're headquartered in Stanford. They're doing a lot of virtual events coming up, like info sessions and workshops through their Point 72 Academy. So I'm just going to put that in the chat for everyone. That's from Judy Stewart for everyone in the club.
Maybe I could find a link to it. Did we receive an email on it?
Yeah, I know she sent it out in the she does like the weekly development emails. It was in that, but I put the link in the chat for everyone that's interested in Point 72. And then Marlis, I don't know if your audio is working, but if you'd like to talk about the CFA Research Challenge, I know that application is now out and it's open until October 16th.
Yeah, I would love to talk about it. I kept waiting and waiting for the application, and then they didn't really give me one, so I created one from last year's application. We are really short in finding people for the team. It's an awesome opportunity. I would I would invite all of you to be a part of the team, and it's open to grads and undergrads. And if you wanted to talk to a student from last year that was on the team, she's still in the FRM. She gave some good insight to it. The competition, the kickoff. So what happens in the CFA is they choose one firm that's in Connecticut. Last year was FactSet. And so we get a team, and you have to have a little finance background. You have to have taken some finance courses and stuff. And what they do, they're identifying the team now, and then they do a kickoff on October 28th to unveil who the company is. And then with your team, they give you parameters of what to look for in analyzing that company. Are they growing? Are they staying stagnant? What are some of the things that they need to work on? So you as a team analyze all that. Now, what you have is you do work on your own. You do need somebody to be the leader to get the people together when you start working on this. And usually the work starts in like the middle of November. And you do work a lot during the holiday, but what you come up with then is a written report that's usually due the first part of February. And you work all together as a team. And what happens usually is some people are stronger in one area, some people are stronger in marketing. And so you really look at what your strengths are, and as that team works together. You have 10 hours of supervision, which maybe sounds like a lot, but it really isn't that much, from Professor Tron. He's been doing this for 3 years. And so what you do is you put your proposal together, you get together as a team, and he gives you feedback as to what to work on after that. And then you also have a corporate person from the CFA that will look at your report and guide you through what you're doing. They only give you 5 hours of feedback. So usually what you do as a team, you get your act together and kind of analyze and then say, okay, we've got one point here, we want to get some feedback from the professor and feedback from the corporate person. And then you go back to put your report together. It's really, really a good competition, and it's not something that you have to go to a class or anything. You do have to work collaboratively as a team, but it's something you can kind of do on your own. Last year, so we do a competition. It's the Stanford CFA sponsors us, and that they don't really spend money, but they do send people to read all of the reports. They send people to help in the competition. So they are sponsoring you in a lot of their time and expertise. But the kickoff is in Hartford, and it's through Zoom, of course. Everything's online. But once you get your group together, then you put together this report. And last year, so our competition would be Sacred Heart, it would be Bryant University, another team at UConn, Fairfield University, the people in our region, and you would compete against those colleges. Now, last year we got called back, which was the first time in 3 years the Stanford team has gotten called back. And we ended up then presenting. So then you present. The first is you put together a report, a written report. And then if you get chosen out of that group, you present. Now, last year our Stanford team got chosen to present, and they ended up getting 4th in the overall competition. Now, this goes on and on and on, and goes up to the international level if your team is really, really fabulous. So it's a great opportunity, a lot less of a commitment than the Student Managed Fund. Student Managed Fund is pretty intense. This is intense for a short period of time. But it's a great opportunity for a lot of people to do an analysis and learn more about the companies, and especially the company in Connecticut. So I'd love to have you all be a part of this, if at all possible. So I'm putting it out there, and the time is very short because they didn't give me the application, but I really would like to get an awesome team. We had a great team last year, and every year we just keep raising the bar for the Stanford group. So that was the first time the Stanford group got into the semifinals, so we were pretty proud of them. If you have any other questions, I do have a student that's in the FRM that's still a current student, and she can really answer. She was on the team last year, and she can answer a lot of questions too about the time commitment and that sort of thing. Any questions?
Yeah, Marlis, I have a question. What finance courses and backgrounds are they looking for? You mentioned that some people have a variety of strengths. Some may have a stronger presence in marketing.
Well,
or
you
some other.
definitely have to have 3301. Is that the first 3101?
Yeah, financial management.
Yeah, and then if you had taken some of the upper level classes, it would be really helpful to you.
Okay.
You don't have to take all of them, but the ones that, analysis a little bit, and, like at least the 3303 is the next one, I think. I don't know if you've taken that.
Yeah, I think that's the investment derivatives and principles, something like that.
Yeah, are you taking that now, or have you taken it?
No, I'm not taking that. No, I'm graduating in December, so I wouldn't be eligible for this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm just
So
asking for other people.
Yeah, you'd have to be here in January because that's when the competition is. So you wouldn't be eligible, but we got some other great people out there. Park,
Yes.
you could do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about it. I have more free time nowadays since we're at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll think about it, definitely.
Now, the person who did it was Shruti. Do you know Shruti?
Shruti?
Judy is FRM.
I'm not familiar with them.
Okay, well, I can send her information if anybody has questions, but I would love to have anybody that would like to be on the team. It's a great learning experience, and even if you don't get the big award, you're really doing a lot of analysis of companies,
Mm-hmm.
of one company, really. And then your final report says, would I invest in this company? So if I had your $1 million that you have to invest, or your 100,000, would you put that money into this company? And you can say, no, I wouldn't buy their stocks, or yes, I would buy their stocks. I know last year, FactSet, most of the teams said they would not buy their stocks because FactSet is not moving along like a Bloomberg. You know, FactSet is somewhat like Bloomberg, but they're not as progressive as Bloomberg. And so the students, our team said they would not invest. We also have some of the past reports, so you can look at what they're looking for and the analysis and that sort of thing. So it's not like you're just starting from scratch. So let me know. It's kind of a short time for the application, but if you're all interested, let me know, or if you have questions, I'll help answer your questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Marlis. Yeah, I think it's due October 16th at 4 p.m., so there's still some time to get the application done.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the club that needs to participate. I can't go to any better people than you guys.
Very true. Very true. Agreed.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, so Parth, if you want to talk anything else about the Market Watch, if not, I know a lot of people have midterms this week or exams coming up. You know.
Yeah, no, we can just call it. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.